Hello, hello. Welcome to a long-awaited continuation of, probably a continuation of the AJATT series. Yeah, I'm not really sure whether to call this a continuation or just like a somewhat related ramble. But yeah, this is just gonna be me talking to the mic. It's gonna be one of those kind of videos. I don't have a script or anything written down at all, so I'm just gonna talk straight out of my head. Yeah, so let's just talk about what I've been up to, I guess, in the past. Wow, been almost 11 months since I came to Japan. So I guess I'll just talk about briefly what I did, how it's been, and kind of where I'm at in terms of Japanese and other stuff. So yeah, just get started. I think about uh when was it? August, a little bit later than August, maybe like September last year. I kind of decided like, let me try moving to Japan. I just kind of had that thought. And I started searching for jobs, just like online, just randomly started searching. I found this, I forgot what it was called. Oh, I think the site was called Gaijin Pot. Yeah, I think I used that site. There's a posting for like a job, like an engineering job on there. I contacted that job posting, and instead of being like a direct link to a company, it was like a recruiter kind of thing, or recruiting like agency that introduced me to a bunch of different Japanese companies and I guess helped me out with the visa. I'm just not really sure exactly how that went. They just kind of like introduced me to different interviews and yeah, they contacted the companies for me. They even translated my resume for me, but apparently the translation of my resume was very, very bad. Um, According to the person I talked to who hired me at my current company now. They said they almost didn't even like consider an interview with me because of my resume. And then they actually interviewed me. They were really shocked to see like, oh wait, there's a lot that's missing on this resume. So that's an interesting thing that happened to me. And I guess from there, the offer for the job came pretty quickly, and it was one of those types of deals where they basically wanted me to come to Japan as soon as possible. So at the time, I was actually taking a trip to Japan, like while I was doing interviews. I think around, yeah, so Japan reopened for foreigners. Foreigners couldn't get like visas normally until last year around October. And like pretty much the same week that Japan reopened to foreigners, I went to Japan for like 1 month on a trip. I don't even think I took any time off. I think I was just like, yeah, just gonna like do work from Japan for a little bit. And I stayed for about 1 month. I did interviews on the side. And yeah, like right in the middle of my trip, the offer came. I went through the final uh, interview and yeah, just went smoothly from there. And yeah, like I said, so it's one of those types of deals where they want you to come to Japan and come work as soon as possible. But of course, I needed a visa, so I had to go back to the US for about 2 months to do all the paperwork and filing the visa. Once I got that, though, I was all set. They even bought me my flight to Japan. They set up like a place for me to stay temporarily until like I find an actual place to live. They even had like a person to like guide me around like the ward office or like guide me to the ward office and a bunch of different shops to like get my what's it called? Like health insurance card, get me registered there, have me like get a cell phone, bank account, all that kind of stuff. I think they use like an agency for that, but yeah, that was another interesting experience. Mainly because the person I guess wasn't really told anything about me. I guess maybe the company didn't know at the time. Because I did my interview mostly in English. So another thing I did like most of my interviews in Japanese, but this company that I'm working at now, there was like two interviewers. There was one who was like an English speaker and one who was a Japanese speaker. And I mainly just spoke English in the interview. And I was told later on from other people that apparently for engineering jobs in Japan, it's better to do it in English rather than Japanese because I guess they think English is cooler. And I guess if you're an engineer, it definitely seems that way. But yeah, getting off track. Anyway, during the interview, yeah, so I did the interview there. What was I talking about? Yeah, I got the offer, went back to the US, did the paperwork for the visa, and in January, I think around the beginning of January is when I was set to go. So I went to the airport and I basically just brought like a suitcase worth of items. I didn't really have that much to take. I just basically took like a laptop and clothes. I think that was pretty much it. That was pretty much all I took. And I went to the place that what's it called? They call it monthly. It's like a uh, monthly like mansion, not mansion, but like apartment. They call it mansion here. But yeah, I went there, stayed there for a month, um, and then I started work at that company in February. So about a month after I landed in Japan, I started work, and I was supposed to have already found like housing before I started, but due to like a mix-up on their side, like they I think I'm pretty sure this is what it was. This is my suspicion. Like I told them that I was coming in January, and I think what they told the house hunting agency was that I was coming in July. So I think that's why the house hunting agent was like ignoring my emails because they thought, oh, this person's not going to come for like another 6 months. And because of that, like my house hunting got delayed, and I ended up finding a place to live in about I'd say the end of February. Yeah, about the end of February. So kind of late there, but whatever. I found a place to live, got settled in the new job, which was very busy, by the way. It's like a startup, so I guess that's kind of why they were looking for people so badly. And what else? What else? What else? What else? Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say about that. I think that's yeah, basically how I came to Japan and I started work. I guess I just talk about how it's been. It's been pretty damn good. I don't know if it's just because I'm in Tokyo, and Tokyo is just kind of like the place to be. Tokyo has like all the necessities of like anything you'd want. So it's from like a tourist standpoint and person living there standpoint. But yeah, it's just, convenience stores are very convenient. Uh, the train the train system is very convenient. Like the bus system is also just very nice and easy to live. Um, yeah, much nicer than when I was in America, to be honest. Like I didn't really like where I lived all that much. So that's one of the big reasons that I decided to like come here. It's like I was like getting kind of tired of just everyday life in the U.S. where I lived. And yeah, so it was really nice just daily life doing that. It was also interesting doing work in Japanese. So I like, okay, yeah, so let me talk about the language thing. So I did my interview in English mostly. I spoke a little bit of Japanese. They were like, hey, why don't you try speaking some Japanese? And I was like, all right. So I just spoke like a couple lines of Japanese, like a self-introduction, and that was it. Did the rest of the interview in English. And then so the division I was put in, or the team, I would say, yeah, the team I was put in was like a Japanese person team. So I was the only non-Japanese native on the team. And yeah, so it's like all Japanese people. And like my boss is Japanese. And yeah, so it was very like kind of like thrust into the open waters type of thing. But surprisingly, it wasn't really that bad. Like, to be honest, when I came to Japan this year, I'd say my level was already good enough to do work, like not super smoothly. I think my Japanese improved like quite a lot from like when I started work in February to like, well, now. So, especially in the first few months, I'd say like the first 2 to 3 months, I kind of got used to like business Japanese and like what people kind of expect from you in terms of ways of speaking, which isn't super strict because I'm a foreigner. So like even if I mess up something or I don't say something, you know, they don't expect me to use like proper keigo and everything. And the people around me, like the native Japanese people, didn't use like proper keigo either. They were like, it's more of like it's not really a traditional Japanese company. It's more like don't want to put it a bad way, or kind of like a negative, but it's kind of like a Google like tech company wannabe. So they're kind of just like copying like one of those tech company structures, and they're like trying to make the company culture like that. And so it's very Western influence. So there's not really that sense of the traditional Japanese company, at least not in the engineering side. Maybe there's more of that in like the sales, marketing, more traditional types of divisions. But at least in the engineering division, there wasn't really anything like that. Everyone's pretty down to earth, which was very helpful. Yeah. Um, but yeah, pretty much all Japanese people. I pretty much only talk to Japanese people in my daily work. And yeah, from there, I think I, I'd say my current level of Japanese, if I were to like try to describe it um, more specifically, I'd say my understanding, my comprehension, both listening and reading, I don't really, to be honest, I don't really think you can get any higher. I think I'm sort of at my max. I say that for like two reasons. One, I don't think I've really stumbled anywhere, and especially in the past like 6 months or so, in terms of understanding. Everything's been kind of just like getting smoother and smoother and more and more natural. And it's to the point where like when I finish work and I'm like super tired and like I just want to like watch something for entertainment, the first thing like I end up watching is like Japanese YouTube or Japanese like movies or something like that instead of like English content. I just I think I've just gotten used to it. If I were to put it like um in more specific terms, I guess it would be like at first I had to use my conscious side of my brain to like, study Japanese, and I was like paying attention to like all the words, and if I had to make a sentence afterwards, make a sentence card. It's like if I didn't understand something, well, I gotta, go understand it. I had all that like Japanese study mindset. But ever since I came to Japan, I started using Japanese every day for my work, for my daily life, going to the store, everything. It's like I kind of just stopped that. I just like, I don't really need to do that. And ever since then, I think that's actually been a big help to Japanese. Like I don't really worry about not understanding something. I worry about like understanding the content or not. I don't really worry about understanding the individual like words anymore. There's a word I don't understand, I can just Google it, and that doesn't really come up that often. And even if there's a word that I don't understand, it's kind of like to the point where, well, there's probably a lot of natives who wouldn't understand either. Or if like you didn't, it's like a specific jargon, where if you don't know that jargon, then you don't know. If you know, you know, kind of thing. So it's getting to that kind of point where there's not really that much higher up I can go. I can like spread out and like go to different like go in different directions, but it's like I kind of know what I need to know already, type of thing, I guess. So yeah, there's like I'm not saying like I'm 100% perfect. Always you can get better at something, I guess, but there's like an asymptotic curve where the rate at which I'm getting better is getting slower and slower, and like I'm getting what's it called, diminished returns on like the amount of time I put into stuff, the amount of time I put into like hardcore studying, which is why I kind of just stopped it. So yeah, I'm not really too worried about. I'm not really doing AJAT anymore, I think. I guess I'm in like the sense of like all Japanese all the time, but I'm not really like studying. I haven't really studied Japanese ever since I actually came to Japan, to be honest. I kind of just do everything in Japanese now. So yeah, in terms of like comprehension, I really don't think there's that much higher I can go. And I'd say about the same for speaking. Like I can pretty much like describe anything that I want to say. I can pretty much say anything I want to say, especially in terms of work. I don't really have any problems communicating. But, I do have like some little tiny annoying things I would like to fix. Like sometimes I use like a slightly, what is it? How do I even describe this? Like there's like a very natural way to say something, and I say it just like slightly off, and as soon as like the moment that I say it, it's like, oh wait, I'm supposed to say it this way, but it's like stuck in my head. Like my mouth is already like moving before I can think. So that's kind of like a difficult thing to fix. But it's not really like to the point where people like don't understand me. Um, but I guess for like posterity's sake, I would like to fix that. Maybe at some point if I really feel like putting the time into it. I haven't done like any like speech training or vocalization training or what was it called? Language parent? I forgot. There's like an AJATT thing or a refold thing. Mia thing. I don't know. Name has changed so much. But I kind of just like skipped all of that and I just went to like speaking to Japanese people. And yeah, that's I've been just picking it all up on the fly. I haven't studied like Keigo either. I just kind of like mimic what other people around me say. And it's like, well, that kind of sounds right to me. And it's like, this sounds good enough. And I even like asked Japanese people about like Keigo, and it's like, well, to be honest, I don't know much Keigo either. So I was told like from other Japanese people that they don't really understand like the super formal Keigo because they're engineers and like they've never had to use it in work. And apparently Japanese people when I think before they go to college or before like they graduate, they like properly sit down and study Keigo and like what to use in like business language. So it's that like it's not something that it's something that's something that everybody automatically knows just because they're Japanese, which is yeah, I guess another interesting thing. I had another interesting thing I wanted to talk about. What was it? Oh yeah, so like I guess people's like impression of my Japanese, like other Japanese natives' impression of my Japanese was interesting. So of course I got the 日本語上手ですね. I got that a little bit, but more I kind of got it what do you even say? It's um like your level is so close to native at a certain point that they just start treating you as like a Japanese person. Like I can tell like the way like people at work treat me compared to like someone who hasn't studied like Japanese as much as I have is very different. They kind of like just put me in like the Japanese speaker group and instead of the what is it, the Gaikokujin group. So that's kind of interesting. I've been kind of like reclassified. And I've only been ever been put in like Japanese like speaking teams as well. So I'm not really sure like what's going on the other side there. I have talked to like other foreigners at this company because there are other foreigners, but it's very interesting to see like the difference between their level and my level because they've been like a lot of these people all these other foreigners who've been in, as are currently at this company. I can't speak anymore. Are currently at this company are like what is it? They've been in Japan for like 10, 15 years or whatever, and they've been like, there for a long time. And when I hear them like speak or like use Japanese or like write Slack messages or something, it's just like I can clearly like see like how they learn Japanese like from a textbook and they kind of haven't like moved that much further on since then. It's kind of like very typical. And like, when they say like a word that's in Japanese, but it's like straight taken straight out of English, basically. They don't pronounce it with the Japanese pronunciation, they pronounce it like straight up with English pronunciation. And also like they mess up like not mess up, but like well, I guess you could say mess up, but they use the incorrect like accent patterns and yeah, it's just very interesting to hear all that. And the that's something I was like kind of expecting. It's like, okay, like the thing is, I haven't really interacted with other people who study Japanese. Like the whole time I've been studying Japanese, I've been pretty much studying 100% solo. And that's why I kind of was like surprised, like, not surprised, but like, how do I even put it? I was kind of just interested in like seeing how do others like foreigners who study Japanese, like, where are they at? Am I like competing with them? Am I like in a different class? Are they in a different class compared to me? I don't know. And then I came to Japan and I found all that out. It was interesting to know. But yeah, the other more interesting thing was like other Japanese natives' impression of those foreigners was very high. So it's like I remember I kept hearing about like this one guy who was in this company who was like I think he's from Canada. He's one of those people that was like not from the Europe area. He came from North America. So he's like very much, uh, basically American. I consider Canadian people basically American, unless you're like Quebec or something, like from Quebec, I guess. But yeah, basically, I remember I heard his Japanese for like the first time the other day, and like before that, he was like very talked up, like oh that person, yeah, he's super good at Japanese. Like all the Japanese people I talked to, like said that, and it was like, oh okay, so like this guy might be really good. And remember I heard him speak Japanese, and it was just like I was kind of like shocked. I was kind of taken aback, like because his pronunciation was just I don't want to say bad because like I don't want to say like I'm not trying to like shame the guy or anything. It's like, but it was kind of like at the point where it was hard for me to understand his Japanese. Sorry, let me just change my seating position. Um, like the accents were very off. He was kind of like doing the thing where you pronounce English words completely with the English pronunciation in even though you're speaking Japanese. And there was kind of like some weird grammar patterns. It was just really hard to understand. Like I said, I don't want to like bad. I'm not bad mouthing the guy. I think he's probably very very capable in Japanese. But I think the hardest part is probably speaking. To be honest, I think that's the hardest part of learning any language. Just like pronunciation specifically, I think is the hardest. I think I don't know why. It's like some people are like super good at like comprehension and like all that, but like they can't like output very well, I feel. Especially when it comes to like actually moving their mouth and pronouncing Japanese. Like they fall back to like their native language pronunciation system, and it's very hard to get rid of like bad habits, which is which is why I'm glad I started with AJAT because um, I think that prevented a lot of bad habits from just sticking in the first place. Um, so yeah, this has been a lot of just me rambling. Yeah, please don't take any of this very seriously. So like when I talk about other people's like Japanese levels, I'm not like I'm specifically like not trying to compete with anybody. Like I don't really care about, you know, my level compared to other people's level. Like I'm not trying to compete. I'm pretty much to learn Japanese for my own sake, for my own curiosity. And now that I've come this far, I'm kind of like at the point where it's not super interesting to just learn Japanese anymore. I kind of need to do something else, is what I feel. Like I feel like I need to learn something on top of Japanese, which is kind of why I kind of mentioned it, I think, in the comments of my last video. But I've been studying the Kanji Kente, which is like it's basically, what is it called? It's like an examination system for how good you are at kanji. And there's like different levels. I think the lowest level is 5, which is the easiest one, and the highest level is 1. But there's like June as well, which is like zero point 0.5. So there's 1, there's 1.5, 2.5, 3. I don't think there's a 3.5 or 4.5, but yeah, the one I'm going for is 2, which is quite difficult apparently, which is like the passing rate for like natives, because most people who take this certification are natives. The Japanese people like to take these kind of examinations. So the passing rate for this exam for level 2 is 25%. So 25% of people who take the exam every year pass, apparently. It's about that rate. Which so yeah, and I did try doing like a practice exam and all that, but it is pretty difficult to be honest. Like I had some confidence when it came to kanji, but it's like it's they really test you on a lot of stuff, especially the writing. The writing, I forget a lot of the time, and they quiz you on some like weird things, like very unusual, like things you wouldn't see in like everyday life or even like novels. It's like you kind of have to just study beforehand. But anyway, I'm just doing it because it seems kind of interesting, and it's to be honest, it is kind of like a bragging point for like conversation. Like every Japanese person I've like talked to, whenever I tell them that like I'm studying for Kankentu, they are like genuinely like, ooh, they're like actually super interested, and they talk about like, oh, like they took level 3, but 2.5 or 2 was too hard, and like I showed them like my uh Kanken level 2 study app that I was doing at the time, and we did like it's like one of those apps where you can basically study on your phone and just do like practice problems. And there's somewhere like where you have to like write down or like they give you like a sentence and you have to like write down or the pronunciation, the reading of this like um this word with like difficult to read kanji, or you have to write the difficult to read or whatever. You have to write some kanji or read some kanji, and they were pretty interested in that. So yeah, I think if I actually get it, then it'll be a good icebreaker in conversations. But as of like right now, I've been like putting off studying for quite a while just because I've been so busy with work. That's the other thing. Like ever since I got this new job, I've been so damn busy with work. Um, it can't really be helped because it's like one of those things where it's a startup and they don't have a lot of people and they try to move really, really fast. But yeah, it's very hectic, especially compared to my last job where it was very easygoing. There wasn't that much to do for me, to be honest. I had so much free time that I basically studied an entire language in like 2 to 3 years in my spare time. And now I don't really have that leeway now, which is why I've been, just to be honest, like one of the reasons why I haven't been doing like YouTube or anything like that. Um, don't have the time. I don't have like the energy. Like I'm very drained when I finish work. I'm just like, I just want to watch some YouTube and then go to bed kind of uh, mood. So yeah. So yeah, forgive me if the uploads don't continue even after this. I don't really plan to like upload a lot. Maybe I will someday when I get less busy, if that day ever comes, which I guess next year could come. I don't know. Um, once things settle down. Um, is there anything else I want to talk about that was interesting? That's it. But my level of Japanese, my comprehension is honestly, I don't have any problems in day to day life or works or reading novels or like most things, to be honest. I could like go higher if I wanted to, but it's kind of like why? It's like there's like no need for it, but I guess if I wanted to, I could kind of deal. And as for what is it? For speaking, I could get better, but it's kind of at a level is like where even if I got better, I guess I don't think anyone around me would really care. And if I don't really care, then there's kind of no point. So I'm just kind of deciding whether or not I care enough to do it. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't really know. As far as like, what is it? Oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. It's really hard to speak off the cuff without any like preparation. But yeah, I guess like where do I go from here type of deal. I guess I'll talk about that. I don't really know is the answer. Like, do I even want to stay in Japan? I think the answer is yes. Like I would like to keep living in Japan just because it's really nice here. It's like really quiet, peaceful, and it's very easy to live here. Honestly, it really is. The hard part for me is I'm a U.S. citizen, so I'm one. If for anyone who doesn't know and is like fortunate enough to not be an American citizen, uh, the U.S. is one of those few countries where even if you're not living in the U.S., you still have to pay taxes, U.S. taxes. So that means at tax time, I have to pay not only the Japanese taxes, which are deducted from my income automatically. I have to pay those, but I also have to pay American income taxes. And apparently there's like not loopholes, but like there's ways you can like nullify that or get that, cleared so you don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to get double taxed. But it's all it all seems very annoying. You have to fill out some forms, you have to like probably like do a bunch of checks, you have to discuss with people, and you definitely have to report like um different stuff to like to the IRS, which is the American Tax Agency. So yeah, you have to do a lot of stuff. I'm gonna probably be very, very busy around early next year when I do my taxes, especially because I need to like do a big cleanup of all my documents and everything. So yeah, there's that. There's the tax thing, which is very complicated because I'm an American citizen, and I really wish I'm right now. I was really wishing I like was of European citizenship or Canadian citizenship or something like that, because this is just super annoying. Yeah, pretty much. I got explained all this because well, I kind of know someone at the company who is also American, and they basically let me in on all this information. They kind of told me how to make it easier, but they told me like prepare yourself because it's gonna get very troublesome if you don't do it properly. So yeah, I have that to look forward to. But yeah, there's the tax thing and the visa thing, of course, because I got a visa. My visa is not permanent; it's a work visa. So how it works basically is there's not really a whole lot of ways for foreigners to come live in Japan like semi-permanently or for a long period of time. The pretty much the best way is either foreign exchange, like if you're a foreign exchange student and your university like arranges like a foreign exchange program, so you can stay here for like 6 months or a year. I think maybe there's 2 years as well. I don't know. I haven't done it before. So there's that, but there's also what is it? Yeah, so there's the one that I'm doing, which is the work visa. So that's basically where your company sponsors your visa, and they go to the government and they, fill out all this paperwork, and then you have to go to like your government agency and like fill out paperwork there to get the visa, which is what I did last year around November December time, and yeah, the visa is a limited duration, so typically it'll be like I think I talked to someone about this, like someone who actually like was more familiar with like the different visa lengths and stuff. But I think the visas can come in like 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and then 5 years, which is apparently the maximum. And fortunately enough for me, I got the maximum, which is 5 years, which is apparently not very easy to get, which is what I've been hearing from like people who are more um, I don't know. Someone told me that it's not super easy to get 5 years, so they were kind of like surprised. But I think it depends on like if it's a work visa, it depends like the scale of the company or something. It's like a formula that the government uses for like um, how long until your visa expires, basically your visa duration. They use some kind of formula to calculate it apparently. But yeah, I got the maximum, which is 5 years. And that means when the 5 years is up, I kind of need either my current company, if I'm still with them, to renew it for me, or I need another company to get me a new visa, or I need to go back to the US. It's pretty much my three options. And to be honest, I can't really imagine what I'm going to be doing in about, I guess it's almost a year, like 10, yeah, about 11 months since I came here, almost 11 months. I can't really imagine I'm going to be doing it another like 4 years, to be honest. That's like I can't really see that far ahead. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna do here. Cause yeah, I would like to stay in Japan, but I'm not saying I definitely don't want to like I don't think I want to become like a Japanese citizen. I don't think I want to become naturalized, which is like what some people do. So when you get naturalized, that's the thing where you properly become a Japanese citizen, you have Japanese citizenship, you have like even like a Japanese you get a Japanese name basically as well. So you actually register a Japanese name. So I'm not like that. I'm just a foreigner who's come to Japan and I have like a work visa. So I'm here temporarily, basically, is the situation. I guess, but I'm not really super concerned about it. Like, worst comes to worst, I'll go back to the US and I'll figure out something there. It's not like the US is like some unlivable wasteland. You can definitely live in the US. Don't worry, guys. If you've never been to the US, it's not that bad. Probably. I don't know how bad it is compared to like maybe it is really bad. I don't know. The Europeans always make fun of America. Maybe they're right. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm kind of drifting off now. trying to think if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about in this video. I guess that's kind of it. Yeah, went to Japan. I came to Japan. I'm still in Japan. Be here for quite a while. Doing work in Japanese as well. I'm not sure if I'll put out. Okay, that's another thing. I wanted to talk about this YouTube channel because, to like say the honest truth, I would like to put out some videos, but I have like two main problems. One is I don't have like the actual time to put out videos that much. And the other thing is I don't have that much motivation to put out videos. I don't really um it's not like YouTube is my passion or anything. So to be honest, like putting together videos is just very annoying for me. But I do think it is interesting though, especially because um I think it would be kind of interesting to have I'm sure there's like a bunch of YouTubers like me where they learn Japanese, they went to move to Japan, they like do all like random stuff where it's like I don't know, comparing like the West and Japan or whatever. I don't know. I think there's like YouTube channels like that. I haven't watched them, but I could probably have like an interesting perspective. Maybe someone told me that. Someone told me that one of my Japanese friends that I have like told me like if you started a YouTube channel that'd probably get a lot of attention. That's a pretty interesting like. I don't think there's like that many people who are in your position, man. It's like okay, I haven't really thought about it that way, but that's a possibility. So, yeah, if I were to put out videos, I'm not sure. I guess I would do them in Japanese, and I'm not really sure what I'd do videos about. I'm not really sure like what I want to talk about. If I want to talk about like some specific subject like language learning, or if I just want to do like broad like um vlog vlog. Is it? Do people say vlog or is it vlog now? I don't know. I guess vlog sounds better. I don't know. I guess I'd do some kind of like vlog type channel where, yeah, I just do like daily life kind of thing. And I probably wouldn't post that frequently just because it seems very annoying to do like those types of videos regularly. But yeah, it sounds like something that's like definitely it's not a hard no. It's definitely something I would think about. Especially if I get the time. If I suddenly become um super free in terms of like my schedule and like I don't have much to do, it's definitely something I would think about. So yeah, it's something that I wanted to put out there. Um, so yeah, YouTube is a possibility. Japanese YouTube is a possibility. I guess I don't really have that much else to say in terms of like Japanese thing. I kind of said everything I wanted to say, I think. Yeah. Hopefully this was somewhat decent of a video. I don't think it was, but some people have been asking me for like an update or a progress report or video or whatever. People have just been asking me to put out a video. So yeah, I put out a video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. If you did, and yeah, if I put out another video, which I'm sure I will someday, um, yeah, please stay tuned for that. All right, thank you for watching. Bye bye.